Hi, it's Melissa Greer with Berkshire Hathaway, Yost&Little in Greensboro. Just wanted to show you an example of how we show buyers properties and what we look for and what we point out to our clients so that they'll know if this property would work for them if they don't walk in and immediately fall in love with it. Jackson Williams is with me. He's my vice president in charge of everything, but he's also a newly licensed provisional broker, and he's been working with me and learning, so this is a great opportunity for us. Jackson, I would just point out the nice finishes, so the hardwood floors, because people don't normally look at the details. We want to bring them in and immediately show them the view because that's one of the nicest features. We try and when we're showing property, we want to show them the nicest features, but we don't want if they buy this property from us and sell it with us in a few years, which we always want to be someone's realtor for their whole life. We don't want them to hear anything when they're selling it that they don't hear from us when they're looking. So we point out the pros and the cons. So in this unit, fortunately, we don't have a lot of the cons. So we walk in, we've got nice floors, great views. It's an open plan, and when it's vacant, you want to help them figure out how to furnish it. So can their furniture fit? So you always look for solid walls. You look for how you think you would do it. You can see that they could do a living area here, dining area, and then you've got the breakfast bar. And then Jackson, my vice president in charge of staging, did a nice little patio space balcony, which it really shows what you can do. And we like to do that with our listings. But the views are really something to point out, and especially if you know what these buildings are. So knowing that's the Cultural Arts Center or the Center City Park or LeBauer Park beyond it, knowing that the Performing Arts Center is to the left, those are the kind of things we try and learn as much about the city as we can, especially when we have a really fun downtown property like this. So we talk about what kind of appliances you want to know. People want to know if it's electric or gas as far as the stove and the oven. Stainless appliances will probably never be out of style. So when you see them, you want to point that out. And, granite countertops, the tile backsplash, all those things are really nice features. And also you want to make sure they know, do these stay or go? Because sometimes people expect them to stay and they're just here for staging. So we want to always let people know what would stay, but it gives them a great idea of what they can do. So we go through, storage is important, so you want to check the closet space and pantries and things like that. A lot of times people are going to ask you how old the heating and air is. And you can usually see that on a disclosure, but we can also ask our homeowners if they're our properties. When you're showing, you listen more. Like we're training, so I'm talking, but a lot of time I'll listen a little bit more, ask a few questions without being too invasive. So you'd want to point out to them that this doesn't really have a window, but it's very common for this building. If we were in a single family home that didn't have like the sprinkler system and all that, bedrooms would have to have a window because of a fire risk. But because they have a sprinkler and this is a high rise, they don't need it here. So a lot of times but you just want them to know that this is their second bedroom. Here's where we kind of offer, if you don't like it to be so dark, there are different paint colors that can make it brighter. And then this is the primary bedroom, and it has a private bath. And so sometimes with these condos, you don't have that, so that's always nice is to see that. The amenities and the finishes in this building are really a good quality, so we stress that because I think that makes a difference. And the building also has 24-hour concierge and a gym, and a restaurant is in the building, so it's really a great spot. But having an additional balcony is great. With buyers, sometimes if it's a one-level home and you're down at the street and they have like a door in their bedroom, some people like that, some people don't. So it's always a good question to say, is this comfortable for you? You point out anything that maybe another person wouldn't like, and you say, is this okay? And of course, with alarms and things like that, that's not that big a deal. Check the closet space and make sure it's enough for them. Just ask a lot of questions. So at this point in time, we usually either have another one to go to, but what I always try when I'm showing people is just say, this is the one, remember, with the view, and then you move on to the next one. But just say if you've looked at other ones, you can say, do you like this one better than the one we just came from? If this is the very first one, that's always tough because they don't have a barometer. So then you kind of say, okay, we won't really know till we see the next one, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you like this. Anytime I've bought a house, anytime I anytime I sell one, you can ask all the questions, you can say anything you want. People feel it. So you say, does this feel like something you can visualize yourself living in? That's a great question to leave on. So now we're going to go through a unit as if they've called me to list it. So there's actually furniture in it, and that'll be a different perspective. So this unit, we listed it probably, a month or two ago. And when we did, it was already furnished. So what we normally did, and Jackson was with me, but we walked through and we made notes. We fill out, all the information we need to market it accurately. And especially we take notes about the nice features, anything special about it. And this is their model, so this is really a great unit. The furniture definitely does not come with it, and we had to verify that. The nice thing about this unit is in a condo building, storage is always important, and people don't think of that. So this actually has a room that is just for storage. It's got some mechanics, but it's not really where there's an additional laundry. So that's what's so nice is you've got that, but you've also got a laundry room. So it helps you put things that you don't know where you're going to put them if you don't have an attic or basement. But this we love because, first thing you notice is it's a corner view, and you've got windows all the way around, but a lot of space. Tile backsplash to stainless, all these amenities and quality features are here, but the view is really, people love this because you can see more of downtown. It feels like you're more in a downtown city area. And we find that on the back side of the building, you overlook the ballpark, but this gives people who are used to living in a city or want that feel more of that. But then you still have the view of the park, which is awesome. So this is like being on Central Park in New York. Greensboro, North Carolina, we're at Center Point, so it's very similar. So when we're listing something, we really focus on the positive. And if there are any things that would be objections, we already figure out how to overcome them. Fortunately, this one doesn't have really many objections. But so what we have to do is really focus on the positive. So that's what we do with listing, is more what's great about it. And then you want the buyer's agent, they're the ones that can point out anything that they feel like is a negative if they can find one. So that's what we do when we're listing, is really focus on everything positive about the unit, which is the views, the corner, the lighting, having all these walls of windows. This is the most spacious unit in the building that we have for sale, and people love it. So once you go in any unit and you come in here, if you're in that same price point, this is always usually a favorite. But it's really amazing in a city to get a condo like this. Unit's in the high fives. You can't really find anything like this in any other city in North Carolina in this price point. And it goes along with how I feel like Greensboro's always been a well-kept secret. We haven't really seen the bubble, but we really feel like as soon as that Performing Arts Center opens, our whole city's going to change and transform. The energy, even during COVID, has been a lot of vibrancy and new restaurants that stayed open and did outdoor space. And there's a real active energy with even some of the organizations, the local ones, to bring people back and grow our city and get some new industry here. So we're real excited about it. It's all happening. Our job is to represent the seller. And so by doing that, we point out the positives. We do have an obligation to disclose any material fact. So if we saw a leak in a window or we saw something, we would have to disclose that there's a problem. Even if we didn't know it, as realtors, we're obligated to notice that and get the information. And usually the way we deal with it is we encourage the seller and help them get it fixed so that there's not a problem. So for an example, we listed a house a couple weeks ago, and in filling out disclosures, which North Carolina requires, they were very proactive and crawled underneath the house, and they noticed that there was some mildew underneath the house, which is 100% common in North Carolina any time of year. But if it's also something that comes up on a home inspection. So they had us get a mold remediation specialist out. We got them to look at it. They did a treatment that's warranted for 5 years before we ever put it on the market. There's not many of those. So we have to, and if it is, they're obvious. It would be like if there was a really steep driveway or something, and that's obvious. And we certainly don't point that out in our marketing. We feel like if people don't notice it, that's a benefit to our client. One thing that I think is so important is whether you're working with buyers or sellers, the approach is pretty much the same. We want to get all the information we can to help either one of them make the best decisions overcome any objections, know what their investment is, know what the price is that we can get for them and how we can get them the best price. So it's just a matter of getting to know the property, being transparent, disclosing anything, and helping them make a good decision. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Thanks for watching.